Welcome to Graphic Policy Television GPTV. I'm Brett, and we are going to go over and discuss, show off, unbox the latest expansion for Cryptozoic's DC deck building game, their Crisis Expansion 2. So this second expansion is will be out sometime this first quarter. I don't think an exact date has been released. The first expansion for the game came out in like September, fallish of 2014. So for those who don't know, the DC deck building game is a game where you build your deck. So you start off with 10 cards and you use points to buy new cards, and you build out your deck and you play those cards as you go. Usually the game you play against your opponent. In Crisis Expansion, the big thing on it is a cooperative aspect to it all. So the game, it has three main sets. So this is a Crisis Expansion. You need one of these main sets to play. The main sets are kind of the original game that came out. Heroes Unite, a little bit different characters, slightly different gameplay as far as the cards. And the brand new latest set is Forever Evil, which you play as the villains. So Crisis Expansion, the game is has a couple things. So one, it has a whole bunch of new heroes. You get 6 all-new playable superheroes, including Deadman, Indigo One, Kyle Rayner, Saint Walker, Star Sapphire, and Red Lantern Supergirl, a very recent new character to the DC Universe. You get 8 playable Crisis superheroes, so they're old heroes with all new abilities. These include the Batgirl, Black Canary, Booster Gold, Hawkman, Nightwing, Red Tornado, Shazam, and Star Sapphire. So these are the characters that came in the Heroes Unite, which is makes complete sense since the first Crisis expansion covered the main deck building game. It has 15 all-new Crisis cards to test your cooperative skills, 15 new Impossible Mode supervillains, which make the game really, really difficult, a whole bunch of new equipment, superheroes, locations, villains. Altogether, we're looking at 61 game cards and 14 oversized superhero cards, plus the rules. So I pre-opened up what to get, so you don't have to watch me fumbling around with a bunch of plastic, because I know how exciting that is. I know the big thing for everyone is they want to know what heroes are in the game. So first, let's go with the main heroes. For the Crisis, of course, you get Shazam, Red Tornado, Nightwing, Hawkman, Booster Gold, Black Canary, Batgirl, and a new Star Sapphire. All have slightly different versions of themselves. You're going to want to use them in the Crisis Superhero mode because they have abilities to really help you get through that game. We're going to discuss how that game differs from the main game in a little bit. So new characters, I know these are the ones you really want to hear about. We have a Red Lantern Supergirl. Love the art. One of my favorite pieces lately. So this one is the first time any foe destroys a card during each player's turn, you may draw a card and then discard a card. We have Star Sapphire. You may play equipment, reveal the top card of your deck. You may discard it or put it on the bottom of your deck. We have Saint Walker. First time you play a hero during each of your turns, reveal the top card of your deck and you may destroy it. Kyle Rayner, at the start of your turn, you may reveal 3 cards with different colors from your hand. If you do, discard your hand and draw 5 cards. Indigo One, the first time you play a red-colored card during your turn, draw a card. The first time you play a blue-colored card during your turn, +1 power. And then we have White Lantern Deadman. Once during each of your turns, you may discard 2 cards with different colors from your hand. If you do, look at a foe's hand, play a card from it, and then return that card to that player's hand. So first off, with the new heroes, really interesting new mechanic as far as playing with colors. Really, really appropriate when it comes to the various cores in the Green Lantern universe. Interesting enough, the ones that aren't representative here, we don't have any green hero, we don't have any orange lanterns, and we don't have any of the yellow Sinestro core. Other than that, all the cores are here, other than also the Black Lanterns, but you know, we wouldn't expect them to be heroes. So really, first up, with the heroes, you get all new mechanic as far as the colors. Really, really cool. I think that's a great thing to include in the game, and it changes things up a lot. I mean, it's a very cool aspect. So as we can expect from the cover, from those heroes, there's going to be heavy Green Lantern influence in the game. So let's kind of go through and see what we get. So for equipment, start off with a non-Green Lantern. We get the Eskrima sticks, which is from the equipment of, I think that's Nightwing's actual equipment. From Batman, you get Nth Metal Mace. I believe there's Nth Metal Wings is in a different set. So Hawkman, not Green Lantern, but we have Black Lantern Power Ring, White Lantern Power Ring, Skull of Batman. I think an awesome moment and such cool artwork. So towards the end there, whole bunch of Green Lantern kind of base stuff. Heroes, we have Atom, Star Sapphire, again Green Lanterns, White Lantern, Core, Indigo Tribe, Ganthet, and Plastic Man, and Kyle Rayner are the heroes. Again, whole bunch of them kind of based off of Green Lantern mythos. As far as locations, we have Atlantis and Mogo. I mean, Mogo is a Green Lantern himself. And powers, channeling the emotional spectrum, very appropriate. Crystal Shield, Rage Blood, and Possession. Whole bunch of those kind of Green Lantern fit. As far as villains to play against, we have Black Lantern's Aquaman, Black Lantern Green Arrow, Black Lantern Wonder Woman, Black Lantern Batman, Black Lantern Blue Beetle, Black Lantern Martian Manhunter. So right there, we have a whole bunch of villains that kind of fit the Green Lantern mythos with Black Lanterns. So straight up, if you are a Green Lantern fan and a fan of this game, you kind of need to get this expansion. And it totally makes sense because for those who have played Heroes Unite had a lot of Green Lantern-based stuff in it. So it feels very, very appropriate that we would see a continuation of that in the Crisis expansion pack that fits the kind of set that it mirrors off of. As far as supervillains to play against is in Impossible mode, we have Vandal Savage, Graves, Mr. Freeze, Amazo, Arquillo, Black Hand, Hellspawn, Doomsday, Hector Hammond, Hell, Mongol, Black Adam, Black Lantern Superman, Trigon, and Crisis Necron. Whole bunch of them are kind of focused on the Green Lantern mythos, but at the same time, it mixes it up. So if you expected like all of them to be Green Lantern villains, yeah, not so much. Maybe I would have expected a Weaponer Cord, though he could be kind of a cool equipment in a weird way. That's not what we're getting. Instead, we have a bunch of supervillains to face from all across the DCU. Really, really cool. It's great that they mixed it up. Kind of throws the game off a little bit in that, in a good way, in that you have a whole bunch of Green Lantern weapons, Green Lantern characters, and a bunch of supervillains that you have to fight that aren't necessarily Green Lanterns. So there's a little bit something for everyone in this set. Now, the big thing with the Crisis expansion is the way the game's played. So instead of just picking up cards, building your deck, and defeating villains to gain points, there's a cooperative aspect. And the cooperative aspect, the way it plays, is you have to clear your cards out and that there's no villains in front of you. And then when there's no villains in front of you, you can take on one of the crises. After you defeat the crises, you can then fight a supervillain. Rinse, repeat. So you have to really work together with your with the other player to beat the game. In this case, you're kind of playing on a clock in a way, because when your main deck of cards runs out and you can't put more cards in kind of the out in front of you anymore, game's over, time's run out, you're done. You both lose. Now, what crises are in here are kind of the big deal. I don't want to spoil it for everyone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a thumbs up when I've gone through all of them to so you don't necessarily have to be spoiled as to what's in there. I'm not going to show off the art because, well, that's going to spoil the cards, but I'm going to read off what major events are covered in this Crisis expansion. So the major events, so mute the thing now, mute the video now if you don't want to hear what events are in here. Are you good? It's the last warning. Alright, so the Crisis expansion events are Corrupted Companion, which has to do with Parallax. We've got Demonic Summoning, which looks to have to do with the Teen Titans. I don't really remember this story. Draining the Emotional Spectrum, obviously Green Lantern, what a shock. We got Frozen City, has to do with the Flash. Heroic Sacrifice, which was, rather appropriate, again, dealing with the Flash. Hunting Down the Lanterns. This was the first Lantern taking on all the Lanterns. We got Mortal Villain, makes sense. We got Savage and the main villains. Manhunter Invasion, again, an event with the Green Lanterns. Missing Heroes, Reshaping Our World, Rise of the Dead, huge event when it comes to the DC Universe. 7 Deadly Sins Unleashed. Shifting Loyalties, really, really cool artwork of Guy Gardner becoming a Red Lantern. Supervillains United. And Villains in Disguise. Again, Green Lantern event. Actually, really, really recent Green Lantern event. So that's your events, your crises that you're going to have to play through to get through the game. For those that want to start listening again, thumbs up. You're safe. Okay, so on continue. So I read through all the crises. Hopefully I didn't spoil anything for everyone. I'm not going to read exactly what you have to do with all of them because that's kind of the fun. Actually, in the rules it says don't look ahead and don't read through the crises because that's part of the fun of the game is getting these things thrown at you and having to deal with them. So that's the full set. Again, for those that are really, really into Green Lantern as far as DC Comics, I feel like this is a must-get. It's going to play really, really well with the Heroes Unite, considering that also has tons of Green Lantern cards in there. But really, any of the sets you can't go wrong with. I mean, all of them are really, really fun. They all have their own kind of flavor, feel to them. But, you know, this one kind of mirrors off of this one as far as the heroes you get and some of the cards that are in there. So these two go a bit better together than maybe it does for the rest. But, again, you can use any of the 3 sets. So before I sign off, I want to thank Cryptozoic, who sent us this copy before it's released so we could show it off to everyone. We're going to go through and we're going to actually play the Crisis Expansion 2. We're going to play a couple more games of first Crisis Expansion and just talk about them and talk about the different way to play. For those who really want to know which set to get, we do have a great video on that one that kind of goes through all of them. But as always, you can catch us every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're, of course, on Twitter, Facebook, all at Graphic Policy. We keep it nice and consistent. Thanks for watching Graphic Policy Television, GPTV. Until next time, keep it geeky.